So welcome back to another video today. For the very first time, we're going to start off with some sawn-off shotgun gameplay in the background because we are playing Battlefield Hardline the beta, which that is crazy. That is crazy to say because it was only a good 6 months, give or take a few, that we were playing Battlefield 4 the beta. So to play Battlefield Hardline this early and this quickly was definitely a joyful surprise, but I'm loving the sawn-off shotgun. I think it's just the bee's knees because even though you have to be basically in the police person, the robber, in their face to actually shoot them and kill them, I think it's awesome. But you do have quite a few weapons in the beta. There isn't quite as many, say, as in Battlefield 4, of course, but it is a beta, so we do have, say, 3 for each class, and a few melee weapons, a few gadgets, and a few attachments. Now, I do believe the attachments are basically the same as you'd see in, say, Battlefield 4. So if you play Battlefield 4, right now those red dot sights, the ACOGs, the scopes, etc., would be the same as you'd see in Battlefield Hardline, the beta. But whether or not they're going to add some more or change them for the full game, I don't really know. But first things first, actually, if you are on Xbox One, Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 and you haven't got a chance to play the beta, then you can get your chance later this fall. I think it's around September, the natural time they decide to release a Battlefield beta. But the open beta is coming to all platforms, including Xbox One, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, of course, including PlayStation 4 and PC, which is very, very exciting. But for some reason the closed beta is only on PlayStation 4 and PC. No idea why, but that's the way they decided to do it. But in the way of weapons, now for the assault class or the operator, you have the G360, the AKM, which is the modern style version of the AK-47. I do hope the AK-47, the old style Kalashnikov assault rifle, actually makes its way into Battlefield Hardline. That would just be absolutely awesome. We also have the fan favourite, the M16A3. Now, I have to say, I use the M16 quite a lot in Battlefield 4, and when I say quite a lot, I mean basically every waking hour. And I use it quite a lot in the beta of Battlefield Hardline. Now, the one in Battlefield 3 is different to the one in Battlefield Hardline because it's more accurate, it's more powerful at range, at close range. The hip fire is much more deadly. In every way, it just seems better in Battlefield 3, which is a good thing because it can stay there. Now, in Battlefield Hardline, they've changed it in small, significant ways to make it somewhat comparable to other assault rifles, so it doesn't feel like when you use the M16A3, you're basically a dominant force. Of course, in the beta, as there's no other weapons to really compete with the M16, everybody's using it. And even though that's not technically a bad thing, it doesn't count for much variety. However, for the engineer, or the mechanic as they like to call it, you do have the mini Uzi, P90, and INT45. If I had to change one thing or add something into the beta, I would like to see, say, the ACWR, the AK5, some kind of carbine for the engineer class, just so you can compete at longer ranges, because the mini Uzi, that's not a very long range weapon. No matter what attachments you put on it, it's not going to be good at long range. The INT45, okay, that's kind of withstandable, but really it's not all that great either. And the P90, well, need I say more. But whereas the support class weapon goes, you have the MG36 and you have a 870 MCS shotgun. It's not called that in the game, but it's basically the same weapon. You also have my favorite, the sawn-off shotgun. That's just absolutely awesome. Now, finally, in the way of sniper rifles, we have a bolt action, just one, called the R700. We also have the SKS equivalent called a Sega something, and another semi-automatic sniper rifle. I've forgotten the name, but it's basically the same. Now, whereas semi-automatic sniper rifles go, they basically perform the same. They perform slightly differently, some have different attributes, but whereas you come down to it, they're basically medium to close range weapons, because bolt action sniper rifles are there for longer ranges, so they vary in the way of power ammo capacity, accuracy, fire rate, that kind of stuff. So it's really up to you, personal preference, which one you like, which one you choose when you, of course, unlock them. Now, saying about unlocks, you do have to buy everything you want to unlock in the game. In the way of attachments, they work a little bit differently to weapons. You can't just buy them outright. I don't think it really matters what level you are. You can just buy a weapon if you have enough money. But in the way of attachments, you have to get certain stars. So using the weapon, getting kills for it, earns towards your next star. So in the beta, each one is unlocked by 3 stars. So once you've got 3 stars, you can unlock all the red dot sights, the ACOGs, etc, etc, which is really, really awesome. But you have to do that for every single weapon, so it's not as easy as it sounds. I think that system of unlocking the weapons at any point in the game via in-game credits is really quite cool. But you won't have any attachments for them, because you have to actually use the weapon to earn those attachments. So it's still using the earning the progression ability, but you can just get any weapon you like. That's really quite cool. Now in the beta, we do have a chance to use quite a few, if not all, the gadgets we're going to see in the full release. So you've got the grappling hook, which is used to scale vertical surfaces. You also have the zip line, which you can shoot from building to building and just zip down at about 1,000 miles per hour, which is really cool. You also have the ammo pack, the med bag, etc, etc. You have different types of revive things, of which I haven't quite used just yet. Now, one thing I'm definitely looking forward to using is the taser. Now, the taser basically works as a close range, well, very close range weapon, so you have to basically be right next to the person before you can taser them to death, which, if you hit them, granted, if you hit them, you get a kill and the person is chucked off to respawn. So that basically covers everything you're probably going to see in the beta. Of course, there's different types of vehicles. You've got little birds, transport helicopters, saying vehicles actually. I did want to mention this because I feel the map that I think it's called High Tension, where you've got the crane. We saw this in the trailers. Basically, if you bring down the wires attached to these kind of pulley systems, you just bring this whole crane down, smashing into the building and just laying across the main road. That's awesome, because it's not completely changing the whole map. It's not changing how you can play on the map. It's just adding something different, which is awesome, making it a bit more dynamic and just a bit more fun. Now, the vehicles you see in Battlefield Hardline, I feel fit the map absolutely perfectly, because you've got police cruisers, you've got sports cars, motorcycles, you got police motorcycles, you got helicopters. Now, there isn't so much going on in the air, on the ground, that kind of distracts you from infantry combat, because that's the main focus in the game, is person to person, gun versus gun, and just gun battles, which is awesome. It's really, really cool. Now, a lot of people have been saying Battlefield Hardline is just a reskin of Battlefield 4. Of course, it does have quite a few similarities to Battlefield 4. There's a fair few features in Battlefield Hardline that are the same to Battlefield 4. Granted, DICE did have a pretty big impact on Battlefield Hardline. I mean, they are the founders of the whole Battlefield franchise, so you can't expect them just to allow every single piece of silliness into their franchise. They don't want it slanted in any way, shape or form. Of course, no more than they have done already, but they wouldn't allow, say, I don't know, giant moving robots that just crush buildings and just shoot giant lasers onto the ground, because that's just stupid and that wouldn't really work or fit in any Battlefield game besides 2142. But besides that, I have to say, I'm absolutely loving Battlefield Hardline. From the beta, I've experienced no crashes, hardly any lag. There's been a few bouts of rubber banding pullback, but compared to Battlefield 4, I can deal with that. I can absolutely deal with that. That just made my day, because it is a beta. There's going to be a few issues, a few bugs here or there, but when it comes down to crashing, there's none. There's literally nothing in the way of major game-breaking issues. The guns, when you shoot at somebody, feels like you hit them when you're meant to, when you get shot at. It feels like you're meant to get shot at that point in time. So you do have to be quite careful, because you can die pretty quickly, so you can't be stupid. There's no let up for stupidity in this game. However, there is a giant factor of fun, so don't think it's all very serious or realistic, because it doesn't feel very realistic. It's just, it feels quite silly and quite fun, of which I'm a big fan of. A lot of people may not be, but it's completely up to you whether or not you want to get this game. It's not forced upon you. You can just try the beta, see if you like it. If you don't, fine be it, but I do. I think it's just incredible. Of course, with that said, feel free to leave in the comment section below your opinions and thoughts on, say, the beta, if you've had a chance to play it. If not, do you like what you see? Do you think Battlefield Hardline is any good, or is it something you'd rather give a miss? Nonetheless, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time. Now, first things first, I do apologise for not uploading in about 4 or so days. That's really down to the fact that I've been pondering over the idea of just making a video before E3.